Call the sheriff, everybody. There's been a robbery in Nottingham, and the culprits are on a bus heading northwest. Welcome to All Red TV, everybody. This is the post-game stream from the game in Nottingham, away at City Ground. Liverpool got 1-0 up, and, well, it has to be described as a robbery, doesn't it, really, Craig?
Yeah, I think it's the biggest since the Brinks bullion robbery. People who know that, or the Great Train robbery by Ronnie Biggs. Yeah, because for the first 45 minutes, you can forget it. There was nothing to see here, as the police say when they enter a crime scene. And maybe that was a crime scene at the end of the game. I don't know, but from a game's point of view, we were absolutely dire for 75 minutes until Arnie Slot decided to wake up from his slumber and make the two changes, which for me should have been made at half time. In Gakpo and Salah.
I think we can start with the first half and split it up into sections. And the first half, I was sitting and looking at the game, and I mean I'm looking at some of the stats now. We had 0.06 expected goals. That means we didn't create shit. That's one thing. But what I was most worried about is that I couldn't see what we were trying to do.
No.
And it looked like we were a championship side.
Yeah. There was no structure. There was no structure to the start of the play. The formation you could work out fine, but the thing is, the back four, they can't play a 5-yard pass together.
No.
And I've said it before. Alisson's becoming a liability at some points during a game. I'm not digging him out, but you've got to say, hang on a minute here. You spent XYZ on another goalkeeper. Maybe Ashvili wouldn't be making the same errors or panicking as much as Alisson is at the minute. But I agree with you. Forest came out of the traps really, really quick with a high press and a lot of intensity, which I expected because they've got a new manager and it's his first game in the Premier League. And they're at home. So, and their fans, they are, I can't stand the Nottingham Forest fans. They're an absolute nightmare. I wish Forest would go down, to be honest. They're like Leicester City. I've no time for them. But
talking about Ali, I looked at the first 25 minutes or something. He had 2 passes out towards Kirkis, and both of them weren't in the same ball ground as where Kirkis was.
No,
he was unpressured, and he just lobbed the ball and nowhere near Kirkis. I have to say though, he did a really good save on the through ball there earlier on.
Well, yeah, I mean, we should have been. I mean, if any Liverpool fans are honest here and they hold their hands up, we should have been 1-0 down within inside 2 minutes.
Yeah, we should, and that's Ali's job, and well done to him.
Yeah, I mean that's what he gets paid a lot of money for, but he shouldn't have been put in that position in the first place. But the alarming thing for me as well during the first half, I found it frustrating, was yet again how easily we give possession away when we have it. And the first touch is shocking.
I was doing my notes during the game, and I was thinking, well, it's time to use the Arsenal excuse, the wind. But because it looked like it had to be something, because we, as you said, we couldn't string 2 passes together.
No.
The touch wasn't there, and but the most worrying thing, we had 1 touch in the box, I think, in the first half or something, or at least somewhere in 35 minutes, and that was Hugo Ekitike's so-called header.
Yeah,
that man can't head a ball for his life, depending on it. He needs to do something about his hair, because all that dye is going into his brain and it's fucking him up. I'm sorry, but
I mean, I know he's a striker, and some strikers are better at heading the ball than others. But I mean, on the ground with the ball at his feet, you can't question his ability. You can't question his pace, his football brain. I can't argue with it. But yeah, I agree with you from an heading standpoint. It's okay. Get to the back of the queue. He's no Alan Shearer for sure, and he's no Eric Kane. Let's look at that way. And he's no Kevin Keegan, if you want to call it that.
what do you think? What do you think Slot's tactics were going in the first half? What do you think he said to the guys? What do you think he said?
For me, I think Arne Slot's tactics were. I think at the first half, I think Arne's tactics were don't concede. Don't go behind early on, because when we've gone behind early on, we've struggled to get back into games. But like I just said when we started, good evening, Ben. The first 45 minutes were absolutely painful. It was worse than a trip to the dentist. And the thing is, it depends. I mean, if you're teaching young kids, young lads or girls at 8 years old, football coaching, the first thing you teach them is how to pass the ball to each other 5 yards apart. If you can't pass a football to somebody, to a teammate 5 yards away from you, you shouldn't be on a football pitch. No, for me,
you should not, at least you shouldn't make this kind of money anyway, if you know.
Yeah, but for a group of professionals to get paid the money they're getting paid and be as bad as they are, it's disgusting. And the one who's the biggest culprit out of all this for me, this afternoon, is Mo Salah. His touch, everything has deserted him. It's gone.
I told you earlier today when we talked, and I said, I'll come to you in a minute, Ben. And I said the first half was abysmal, yeah. But the three guys on top didn't get any balls to work with. It started all the way in the back there. Now, I'm not saying they were good anyway, but Ben, welcome to the stream. We were just, sorting out the game. We're talking about the first half first. What are your thoughts about the first half that we performed at City Ground?
It was painful to watch, to say the least, wasn't it? Like, you think, like, these guys tomorrow, they're going to wake up and they're going to see hundreds of thousands of pounds in their bank account, but they couldn't play like high school kids are trained to do. So many simple passes were. It was painful. Yeah. But I've come to expect that of this team at this point. We never really start games well, especially away from home, and we never really play well there either. I mean, our record speaks for itself. That was only our second win since they came back up in 2022 at the City Ground in the league. If you don't want to count the FA Cup game that year as well.
Mm-hmm. But what I mean, we lost words at warm up, and it is blatantly easy to see that he's the only kind of creative player we have. Yeah. I mean, Dominic is creative as well, but he's kind of more locked defensively. I feel he is.
I was saying that for most of the first half, that what needs to be done is either swap Jones and Szoboszlai around, get Jones at right back, because Szoboszlai is so much better, and we are much better for it with him in midfield. How many times are we going to say this, Harold? We said it all the time. Yeah.
There's no wonder I'm a sore throat and coughing, because we're screaming it from our top of our lungs now for months.
And I know this sounds stupid in hindsight because he went on to score a winner, but we should, like, at halftime I was saying sub Makarov for Gomez and get Jones and Szoboszlai in the midfield, because that midfield performance in the first half was shocking. Sangare and Anderson were having a field day.
But But I asked Craig this question: what do you think that the plan and the tactics Slot had coming in? Because it looked like we didn't know what we were going to do. I mean, we looked like a championship team in the first 45 minutes.
I mean, I know I only just joined, so I've not heard much of the talking. But
You've not missed much.
yeah,
No.
yeah. But when I did join, I did hear Craig talking about like how it was probably the plan to set up in a way like that to just get through the first 20, 30 minutes away from home, tough away ground, must-win game because we've got some winnable. Like when you look at our next 2, 3, maybe 4 games, I mean, you do see much easier games on paper.
But
So you set up not to concede because, like Craig also said, we end up playing worse when we're a goal behind.
I agree on that, but we were one fabulous save from Ali from being 1 down already after 2 minutes. So it is dangerous to play that kind of game. It's
a tightrope you walk on, but in football, it's sometimes you have to walk on that tightrope. I think.
But aren't we better than this?
We're definitely better than this, but the problem is, and I'm sure this will be a talking point, and we can't do much as a team when we've got when both of our wingers are turnover machines. That's the problem. Most of our problems stem from the front, which we can't press from attack. Our only decent presser is Szoboszlai, and he's at right back.
Yeah, and when I saw the lineup gotten reformed, and I saw that Omlik was at right back again, I almost threw my laptop through the window. I mean, the stupidity of this manager when it comes to the right back position. Okay, I understand that Gomez can't play, or Cinderella can't play 90 minutes every time because he's, made out of soft tissue. But the point is, when you constantly put the best presser and the best running, I'm a box-to-box player, and you put him at right back, I mean, yeah.
For me, you're playing with 9 men because you've got a winger on the right hand side who the game's left him, and then your best midfielder, your player of the season for me, up to now, without any shadow of a doubt, you're playing at right back. So basically, look how much creativity you're losing. So to a degree, you're playing with 9 men.
It's not just the creativity we lose; it's the energy in the middle of the park.
Yeah.
Like you could see how painfully easy it was for Anderson and Sangare to just win the second balls because we had no running power though. Gravenberg and McAllister, they're playing stuck in the mud.
Basically, it's as if Ernie Slot's a mechanic. He doesn't know what he's doing, and he's took the main cog out of the engine room and put it in the boot.
He's using square pegs for round holes.
But I still want to kind of defend the 3 guys on top there in the first half. Now, I agree with a lot of the criticism they have gotten, but this game, I mean, first of all, they didn't have the ball much. There was a big gap between them and the midfield. There was no help when they. Wait. When they got the ball. Second of all, they were left to their own devices, in my opinion. And it is hard when you don't have the ball and are involved in the game. Now we're talking about pressing is one thing, but if our plan is to throw the ball long, kick it long, and they have to go 1-on-2 or 2-on-3, and they lose the ball, and the midfield is 60 yards away. It ain't easy.
I agree with your point of not having much help for the attack. When you talk about Ekitike, he is so isolated. He might as well just have stayed at home. He's that isolated. He might as well have COVID in 2020. He's that isolated. Yeah. But like with Salah and Ekitike, part of the reason so much goes by them is because of their own fault. Neither of them are good at controlling a ball. Neither of them are able to pass it, apparently. Neither of them are fast. And neither of them are strong enough. half the time. Like, did you have any confidence that Salah was ever going to get past Nico Williams once in that game?
No.
I didn't. Nico Williams loves playing against Salah. It's his easiest matchup.
What do you think, Aldo, about this? What do you think about what I said and he said?
I agree with you. I think with Nico Williams versus Mo Salah, it's a mismatch because Nico Williams knows Mo Salah's game inside out. People are forgetting how much time they spent together on the training field and probably facing each other off in 5-a-sides or whatever it may be. People are forgetting this. Nico Williams knows Liverpool's DNA probably better than most people. So I wasn't surprised that he raised his game today at all, because I think it's Nico Williams' way of saying to
The club,
the people above, you shouldn't have let me go. He's just basically saying, look where you messed up. And I agree with Ben. Etatike, what I would have said to Etatike was, because his first touch is poor, all I would have said to Etatike was, stop coming deep. All I just said to him, stay on the shoulder of the last defender, because you'll beat him for pace. You're taller, and if you've got pace, that's the last thing you want as a defender, because he can turn him quicker than what he probably can. So I would have just said, stay on the shoulder of the last defender, right? We'll play the ball into feet. The first chance you get, do the best you can with it. But yeah, I think Ernie Slot needs to have a serious look of what's going on from the midfield to the front going forward. And he also needs to have a look at Mo Salah and Cody Gakpo, because I think them two, no disrespect to them, they've not let Liverpool down going back. They've done a great job for us. But I think now Gakpo's not delivering as he should, so I think it's time to move him on. And I think Mo, thanks for everything. You're an absolute legend, but
But we are still stuck with these. We're still stuck with these guys for the remainder of the season. And when you look at our bench, we don't really have much on the bench either, do we?
Well, I honestly think, and I know you've not said it yet, because when you come to the second half, so I'm going to leave it a little bit, but I honestly believe Rio Ungamoa has to start games now.
Ben?
Can I just say, like, and we're talking about what Craig just said about Ekitike and like standing on the shoulder of the last man. I do agree on that kind of, because obviously he's going to beat Murillo for pace or Milenkovic for pace 9 times out of 10. But that referee performance today, though, not excusing the performance, we were terrible, obviously, but that ref was letting the centre backs do whatever the hell they wanted to Ekitike. Like, did you see, and that shirt pull from Olaina on Ekitike or Soboslai, was it? Yeah. It lasted
on Ekitike.
Yeah, it lasted for 10 seconds and Oliver was just there like...
Well, yeah. I thought, well, if you want to swap shirts, wait till after the game.
Just a fun fact on that one. In Norway, we've had one that's worse than that. We've had one that's been holding for 20 seconds on his ass, sliding after the player. But as I said, we don't have much on the bench. I mean, and that kind of limits Slots options. We have to be that fair when it comes to options. But what bugs us all three is that out of those few options, there are so many he doesn't like.
That's for
some reason.
That's the problem. The options we do have, the geezer in charge doesn't even like them. So what's the point of having them? The word of the day is depth, but is it depth if the manager wants to poke his eyes out at the thought of bringing them on?
Yeah, because I mean, I know, well, that gives us up to the second half, and I just want to start with the substitutions. We made our substitutions at 76 minutes.
10 minutes too early for Slotler. So is he okay?
Yeah, he must have misread the watch or something. But the point is, at that time they had already made when Rio and Chiesa came in, they made 2 substitutions, and I made 2 earlier. Now again, they have a more depth than we do, but still, they try to change the game. He's just subbing to look like he's doing anything. I mean, I don't get it anymore.
I wonder what it must sound like when he comes to the realization he has to bring gears. When the sigh must be ginormous.
Oh, you can hear that. You can hear the bang here.
Word to Forest though, because I thought they were great. Like,
Yeah, they were.
I think Spurs will be watching that game now after the Wolves after the game just happened. They've just lost 4-1, haven't they? So they'll be looking at that Forest performance against us. They'll be seeing West Ham are showing signs. Leeds are better than them. If I'm a Tottenham fan, I'm very worried right now.
And the thing is, on Nottingham Forest, Victor Pereira, you've got to give him credit here, because he's only been in through the doors at Nottingham Forest a week, if that. And then his first game was Fenerbahce away in Turkey, and he comes away with a 3-0 win. And then he plays the same 11 this afternoon in his first home game in the Premier League. So you've got the new manager bounce, if that's what you want to call it. That's what they call it. And the crowd's up for it because the reigning champions are coming into town. The away section's sold out, as always. And the players and the fans at Forest are up for it. He's given them a call to arms. And they've listened to what he said. They've got a fresh voice. It's not Sean Dyche. They've listened to what he said, and they've gone out there. And whichever way you want to dress it up, they've performed for him. They can feel they're done by today, for sure. And like Ben just touched on there, and yeah, I know we're talking about Forest, but I think with the fixtures this weekend, Chelsea have dropped points, right? Aston Villa have dropped points. So we've won, which was vital. So that puts us level with Man United and Chelsea. But also, there's a league title to be won. There's a massive result yesterday in Manchester, and there's been a huge one this afternoon in North London. Now, I agree with Ben here. If I'm a Tottenham Hotspur fan, looking at the fixtures, I'm absolutely bricking it now, because there's a serious possibility. This is reality. This not, are you too big? There's a very good chance that Tottenham could go down here.
Yeah.
You can't say they're too big. That doesn't wash. And the reason it doesn't wash is simply this. Look how long it took Leeds United and Nottingham Forest to come back up. Were they too big to go down? No, they weren't.
But let's go back to our game. The second half, I think we did a lot better. I mean, we had expected goals of 1.7, 4 big chances, 4 shots on goal.
I will say it was quite hard not to improve on that first half.
Exactly, I agree. Of course, I mean but even if we were good or shit, we did have a good second half. The second half in itself was okay. But as we've touched up on, it got real better when we did the substitution. And
okay, so you said the second half got better.
Yeah.
Did it get better before the substitutions? So did it get better when he put Szoboszlai in midfield and Curtis at right back for you?
He did that in the second. He did that in the first half already, somewhere 2025 or something. I think it was. He did that. I noticed it at least. And that maybe stabilized things, but we were still shit in the first half. I don't know what adjustments he did in the second half, but usually the team that dominates first half doesn't go out and dominate the second half anyway the same way, because both teams are doing adjustments.
I think the reason the change in the first half didn't make too much of a difference was because the momentum with Forest was so big. Like they were dominating the half, if kind of like they wanted it more. And I mean, obviously you can't deny it. They literally did. It was the proof is put in that first half. But when the change was made, even though it should have started like that, the momentum was so in their favour, it was hard to claw it back. So half time came at a good time for us, and it was a good thing we went in 0-0.
Yes,
and that is also what I'm thinking of, because we started better. We had a big chance after 50 minutes, 52, 53 minutes, where Gakpo, Salah, and Jones, So I also noticed we won a little bit more duels in the second half in the first half, and that's like Ben said, because we wanted more. We stepped up a little bit more. And if you win a little bit more duels, if you run a little bit more, and if you do a little bit of everything better, that accumulates in chances and shots on goal. Now, the substitutions, as we said, came on way too slow or late. But I don't know, Craig. What do you think of the second half
The
in
second
itself?
half, the second half. I mean, I was looking at Virgil, and you could see how frustrated he was getting with the amount of times we kept giving the ball away and losing possession in midfield too cheaply, putting the back four under pressure. He wasn't happy. I think Ryan Gravenberch struggled this afternoon. I don't know why.
He's been struggling for a while.
You know, and what you've touched on there with the substitutions, Arne Slot is as bad as Jurgen Klopp was. Jurgen never made a substitution till the 75th minute. Never before that time. Arne Slot's falling into the same trap. It's too late. He should have made the changes at half time because he could see clearly it wasn't working. He should have took Mo off. He should have took Corley off and just said to Federico and Rio, right, soon as you get the opportunity, you just run at them. You've both got the pace.
But they said, I just want to shoot in there. They said on my TV here that they understand why he gives them the chance to start in the second half, because it can't get any worse. Now,
it can.
But I agree that when you survive to have. Sorry.
All right, Mick McCarthy there.
No, but listen. You survive first half. You go in and you give him a good old speech, and you tell him this ain't good enough, and you give him 10 minutes to prove him that they have listened and heard. Now, the fault here is he doesn't give them 10 minutes. He gives them 25 minutes, and that's the issue here. I mean, if somebody's doing something wrong, you should be allowed to say it to them, and they have a chance to improve. But when you let them play 70-80% of the game, that's too much.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Okay, so here's my question to you two then. Right, so do you... I know my answer, but at half time...
And it's wrong.
Yeah, okay. So, so at half time, when they're in the changing room or the dressing room or the locker room, whichever you call it, do you put your hand on your heart now and ask yourself this question? Do you honestly believe that squad of 19, which Arne Slot said he wanted, is listening to him?
Not every single player, but
that's your problem.
Yeah, but those who don't listen are those who don't play.
And it's like Ben said earlier on, he was on about depth. When Arne Slot came in, he said, I don't want a squad of 25. I want a squad of 19. And look where it's fucking got you.
You reckon that was a rookie mistake? He thought because he got away with it in the Netherlands, he thought he could get away with it here.
But
and
he's Eredivisie isn't the Premier League. You're not going to get away with it.
Yeah, no,
but my point is,
rookie mistake.
I think if everybody was healthy and we had 25 players, I think he would have made changes maybe at halftime. It's easier when you have a full bench to make a substitution, to set an example at halftime. I'm not defending him, but I'm saying if you have good squad players or first team players on the bench, 9 of them, well, yeah. I mean, we have 2 goalies on the fucking bench.
His options are limited, but he's brought that on himself.
I agree, but he's in that situation now. If it does if it does make 2 changes at halftime, and something happens, somebody get injured, what do you do?
I do. Like in a way, like I'm not gonna sit here and say I'm his biggest fan or his defender or anything, but is the centre backs we signed suffered an ACL in his first appearance, and our backup striker or our other striker had his leg snapped in two. So there's some things he can't control. So it is unfortunate in a way, but like Craig said, he also brought on himself by saying, "Oh, I want a certain amount of players," because like I was saying, it's a rookie mistake he's made because he thought he could get away with it over here, and he's clearly underestimated the intensity of the Premier League, because in the Netherlands there's only 2 competitions, whereas there's 4 when you manage a club like Liverpool.
Yeah,
and you're expected to go far, if not win all 4 competitions, especially when you're being given 500 million quid.
Yeah.
But when you see what he did to Konesh when he was subbed out of against Ipswich after 20 minutes, look at the bench he had then compared to now. So it is easier to make an example out of a player. It is easier to try and make changes early on to say that's not good enough. And as we said, on the bench he has 2 goalkeepers and 4 players he don't like. So, yeah, or trust, whether you like it or not.
A theory of mine, though, going back to that Kwanzaa thing at Ipswich last season, was I don't think he wanted to start Kwanzaa, but he kind of had to because Canate and France made it to the semi-finals of the Euros, so they didn't return till basically close to the start of the season anyway, and barely had a pre-season, so he kind of had to start Kwanzaa because he was in the most momentum and ready for the game. Had it not been in Euros summer, I think Canate would have started that game anyway.
Do you think Liverpool will buy him back now?
Kwanzaa, probably.
Yeah,
I think so, because it's all agreed on.
I think there's a buyback clause there, isn't there?
Yeah, but it's like 60 million. The wages are all agreed. The contract terms are done. It's just about whether the player and the club want it. So
okay, then the next question is, if we buy him back now, we negotiated a buyback clause, so that's smart. But who's made the biggest boo-boo here? The manager or the club who let him go? Who said this was a good idea, and who looks more fool when we buy him back 12 months later?
I don't think anyone. Because the player the Kwanzaa we talk about now, who's clearly refined his game a bit at Leverkusen, clearly looks a good player, and the player who will come back and probably be a Liverpool centre-back, he would not reach this place if he didn't leave. He had to leave.
Yeah, but we sold him and tried to get Gahey. So that means we thought Gahey would be a better player than he would be. I
think we assumed more Gahey being a direct replacement for Gomez, because Gahey can play right back like Gomez and left back.
What do you think, Craig?
I think it's a combination of the two. I think it's a combination of Ernie Slot not having the trust in Joel Kwanzaa, and I think it's a combination of Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards saying, well, if you don't trust him, then we'll sell him, but we will put a clause in there that if he goes away and he turns out to be what we think he can be, we've got first option to bring him back rather than Manchester City or whatever it may be. Because just before we came on stream tonight, I've read something on social media which the most corrupt club in world football, our nemesis who we hate, are also in advanced talks with a centre-back we've been linked with. Real Madrid are in advanced talks with Nico Slotterbeck, from what I've read tonight. So that's another one we're going to miss out on.
I'm personally not that fussed. I like Schlotterbeck as a player. I think he'll be great for Madrid. He might be great for Madrid. We don't know. The pressure might crumble, or he might crumble under the pressure of Madrid. We never know. I'm of the opinion that if we extend Canate, then our centre backs next season is fine. It depends on Gomez going, which I think he will. So then maybe you get in a homegrown, experienced option from God knows where. But Gahey, Leo, Van Dijk, Canate, Jacket, and Leone, and then another option will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, I've just got a feeling, and it's only the last couple of weeks. I've always been adamant that Ibu was going to leave, but after what he's been through over the last 3 or 4 weeks with the loss of his dad and the way the club have looked after him and give him the time off and let him get his head together and spend time with his family. And then he's decided he wanted to come back and help the team rather than stay away in France. I've just got a funny feeling now that he's going to sign a new contract. It's just a matter of sorting everything out and him being... He's happy where he is now, you can see. I just think he wants to pay Liverpool back for what they've done for him. And I think he wants to stay where he is.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and present these people I saw speaking at the peak of truth, but I've saw a lot of murmurs on Twitter recently that it's is like contract extension talks are in a very positive place right now, like in comparison to where they were like 2 months ago. Because if you remember, it was coming out from like The Athletic that there was such a wall in between the both parties where it just seemed like it was never going to be broken. Whereas now it feels like that wall is showing cracks.
It may get anywhere. But let's get back to the game again, because we didn't talk about the goals we scored. Now, we scored 2 goals. And for the love of God, who don't exist, I cannot understand why the first goal was disallowed.
Because it went in off his arm.
Yeah.
By the letter of the law, it has to be disallowed. It's harsh. I
have read that one, but the point is, we have seen goals. Players would have had their hands up in and been 2 inches away when the ball has been struck, and the goal has stood. He had his arm in a natural position. He had it fairly close to his body. He was 2 inches from the ball when it got struck. It is not out. It's not. I mean, the letter of the law is very, very vague. I mean, it's clear, but it's not followed every time.
Yeah, that's the part that really just gets on your nerves, because you know, like tomorrow or something, or next weekend, you're going to see a similar goal given. And
or a worse one.
Yeah. I mean, and we'll get to this in a bit, actually, because I kind of want to talk about this, but that Colin Malani goal earlier, the second goal that should have stood, you're going to see a goal similar to that, guaranteed, next weekend, by Gabriel himself, probably, where he's absolutely manhandling one of their defenders, and it's going to get given.
We'll get to the PGMOL later, but what do you think about the disallowed first goal?
Yeah, so just coming back to Howard Webb's rough child there in the corner then, right? Right.
Well,
the first goal, right?
Yeah.
I understand what Ben's saying, the letter of the law. Now, the letter of the law is an ass, right? Is an ass.
Yep.
Because during the course of this season, we have seen situations where penalties should have been given, and because it wasn't clear and obvious, they've not been given. Now, this was exactly the same this afternoon, because McAllister's back's turned. He's no idea where that ball's going to strike him. No,
and the arm is not out.
Right? His arm was in a natural position. He didn't stick his arm out. So, and the ball's hit his arm and gone over the keeper's head. So, for me, the goal should have stood. I think the referee and the VAR did everything possible to stop Liverpool picking 3 points up this afternoon.
But here's okay. Then the next question is.
Can I just say something for that?
No. Yeah, come on.
Yeah. I would have been less annoyed if the first goal was given and the second was ruled out, because at first glance, I genuinely thought that Van Dijk had ruined it with his positioning. So I would have been so much less annoyed if the first goal was given and the second didn't stand.
Yeah. But here's my question then. You're jumping the gun, Ben. Calm down. Kids of today, I mean, come on, you're reckless. Now, when I saw the freeze picture of the second goal, I mean, I didn't understand why it took so long, because in my opinion, that was an offside. Now, I didn't know that Wes Waldo was playing at the same time, because he had kind of hidden and playing hide and seek in the back there. But when you see the freeze picture, I mean, come on, guys, you have to agree that looked really offside.
It's easy to see in hindsight, I guess, because
I think Virgil was offside for me. He was offside.
nah,
Yeah.
I think it's so tight. I mean, you talk about letter of the law, but there's this ruling of the 5
Yeah, but
centimeter rule.
did you see Waldo in the back there?
Yeah, I know, idiot.
Yeah, but when they drew the line, you saw him. But did you see him when they froze the real picture?
I saw someone behind Virgil, but I thought it was a Liverpool player. I don't
So
know
we
why.
so we all agreed that when
It
we
was
saw the
offside as
picture,
well.
we all thought it was going to be offside.
Yeah, which is why I said I would have been a lot less annoyed at first glance if the second goal was not given, and the first was, because the first, when by the letter of the law, the first goal made more sense to be given because McAllister can't help where the ball hit him because
And he's not making himself bigger.
He's not making himself bigger. His back's turned, and the ball's been straight at him from literally from here.
Yeah.
So he can't do much about that.
Right. So the question is, was it clear and obvious? No.
Yeah. The
So
handball,
goal
I guess, right?
stands.
Yeah. But and here we are, and now we're talking about in general, because did you see the charging from Bernardo the Rat Silva yesterday against Newcastle, against Burns, I think it was, or whoever it was?
Yeah.
Where Burns were looking at the ball, and the Rat came charging on and jumped into him. He didn't look at the ball at all, and it didn't get a second yellow, which meant bye bye sucker.
Yeah.
And we see the goal, the 2-2 goal in Tottenham that was disallowed. Now I agree he had both hands in his back, but he doesn't push now, does he?
Nah, that's what I was saying. Though, it's so soft from Gabriel. Gabriel plays it very well, and people will say it's scummy and it's thuggery, but I think it's smart because he knows there's if you put two hands on someone's back in the box and score, then it's very likely going to get overturned or not given. So Gabriel's played it very well. And Colin Maloney did not do himself any favors by using hands.
By having his hand there, he gives the ref an option to blow. But my point is, it is if we got a disallowed goal, which we all agree shouldn't have been a disallowed because of the situation. You have the second yellow on Silva the Rat, who should have been sent off, and that one could have stood. Don't come here, but
no, I'm just saying Newcastle have gotten away with some very dubious fouls in the past. Maybe it's,
I agree,
maybe
but or maybe just poor refereeing.
Two things can be true. Agree to disagree.
And that's my point here. I mean, the players only do what they're allowed to do. It's like kids.
I said it earlier. The standard of refereeing in this country is beyond laughable at this point. It's one rule for thee, not for he, every week.
And then the next question, I'll start with you, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
This was a topic after the FA Cup game. Do you think the referees have been more been softened by VAR? Because when they refereed in the FA Cup, they are so used to having VAR to rely on, so they don't do the job properly, because if I fuck up, someone is going to save me. Do you think that is true?
All it proved to me was obviously using the FA Cup, which is a great example in the last round, because VAR wasn't in use. All it proved to me is that the officials in this country are not fit for purpose. They're not up to the job. They're not good enough. You shouldn't need a video assistant referee to tell you whether you've made the right decision or not.
No, but it is good to have that safety net. But it looks like they are getting used to having the safety net, so they don't look at things the way they should. They're not doing the job. They are even more poor at the job.
All it tells me is that the officials, without the VAR, they're not capable of making the correct decision, no matter what it is.
I think that became very clear and obvious itself during the last round of FA Cup games. Like that Newcastle Villa game in the Cup, that was embarrassing.
Oh, yeah.
Every decision was wrong and in Villa's favour. You might as well have just said it was a 13 versus 11 in Villa's favour, and Newcastle still won.
So FA Cup round called them out a bit, because it got a lot of talk about it.
I mean, the thing is, we all know who we support. We know where our loyalties lie. We've planted the flag and our flags to Liverpool FC. But with what you're talking about there, all I'm saying is, for the good of the game and for the good of football, all you want is a level playing field throughout, no matter what league you're playing in, whether it's Championship, League One, not non-league, or League Two, or the FA Cup or the League Cup. You just want a level playing field throughout, and we're not getting it.
It's always going to be, the level of football will always be slightly lower than it should be if you can't trust the referees to do their job properly.
Yeah.
And I mean, one thing is, it's not that we're expecting
Perfection.
No, we are expecting the same rules in every game.
Consistency. We're expecting consistency.
Exactly, consistency. So whether that consistency is at 99% or 50% doesn't really matter. Just keep it consistent.
Okay, here's another question then to what you've just been talking about, and I agree with you 100%, both of you. Why doesn't the Football Association, the Premier League, and the PGMOL, why don't they get former players who have just finished playing and are still physically fit? Why don't they train them to become referees? Because you've got people who have played the game who know exactly how to apply the law.
But my biggest issue is that they have the rules, they have the law, they just don't use it.
Why?
I mean, let's say the main focus last year or 2 years ago, where it was, you do not approach the referee if you're not playing number 3. Approaching the referee, it's yellow card. They did that. That's the rule that had been there for ages. You should not approach the referee.
Dissent.
Now
Dissent.
Yeah, and they did that, and players approaching the referee or the referee stopped. It disappeared, and then they stopped doing it, following the rule, and it took 5 games. They rolled back to 7-8 players again. So the main issue is not the rules; it's the referees not upholding them.
I guess it also doesn't help that every year these rules get changed or tinkered a bit. Like the handball rule, how many times has that been changed now?
Yeah, but even if you take out the handball rule, I mean, how many yards away from the ball when there's a free kick? Now they're standing in front of it. That should be a yellow. Holding, pushing, anything. They have the rules, they don't use them.
It's the application. They don't know how to apply them. It's the application of the rules.
They know how to apply them. They just don't want to put 5 players out of the game.
But what's the point in having the rules then? There's no point.
Exactly. It doesn't help the game. If, like Ben said, if we now make new rules or new additions to an existing rules, when it's just another thing they don't abide by. I mean, I've been a floorball referee for myself for 12 years. And I've not been at the highest level, but I've been decent enough. Now, the rule I've played, I've refereed companies who are playing as a hobby and active players. The rule is just the same.
I feel like the rule that kind of shows all this topic we've kind of just discussed, the rule that really shows how weird and inconsistent it is that time wasting rule that was implemented this season. Where if you keep the ball for like 7 seconds, it becomes a corner.
Yeah. And he's going to stand there and count.
Yeah, I feel like how many times have we watched the games this season? I can count at least 3 or 4 times where Martinez or Pickford have had the ball for longer than 7 seconds and nothing's happened. So the rule, whilst I do disagree, the rules can be flawed. It doesn't help when the people that are meant to apply these rules just completely don't want to or forget to.
Yeah, I mean, as we talked about, when the third player approaching the referee gets the yellow card, it stopped. I saw a game here a few weeks or months ago where an Arsenal player pushed an opposing player out of the field on the corner, on the defensive corner for Arsenal. Nothing. Now, if you want to have players stopping, pushing, pulling, holding, whatever it is, give a yellow, give a free kick, or give it a penalty every fucking time. In 2 games, that stopped.
Yeah. And a perfect example of that is Salah. How many times does he get rugby tackled to the ground by players?
Exactly.
And they do it because they know they can, because the referees have set that precedent that if you can do that to no player, but if you do it to Salah, I'll turn a blind eye.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, they call it the dark arts, don't they? And there's nobody using the dark arts better than Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. They've been doing it not just this season; they've been doing it ever since he came in.
No, I'd say
and they're getting away with it.
I'd say it's been more since like the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Because I actually I'm not Arsenal's biggest fan, but in 22-23, I actually enjoyed watching Arsenal. I actually rooted for Arsenal that year in a way.
Yeah, but the point is, the thing about Arsenal is they play good football when they want to play good football. And that's the annoying thing. They don't want to play; they just want to time waste and go on set pieces. Yeah. If the rules of holding and pushing and everything when it comes to free kicks or set pieces, Arsenal wouldn't have scored one fucking single goal.
So here's my question then. I think it's a contentious question. This should VAR be scrapped or not?
No. It's kind of like saying, should we have this conversation of machines doing a load of factory work? Is like, should these machines, if they don't do it right, should they have humans operating them more? It's like, well, no, these or something like that. Or those joint machines where it's human and machine, but the human makes the mistakes. Somehow the machine gets the blame for it. It's not the machinery; it's the idiot operating it. Get rid of him, not the machine, because that machine's working for multiple other leagues or multiple other factories, but this one idiot can't use it. So replace every single piece of machinery. No.
But my issue is, as I kind of tried to say, is that when we've talked about the handball rule, that's changed more than I've changed underwear today. So, but the point is, when it comes to, the basic rules of football are there. They haven't changed much, but they are not upholding them. That's like having a police, sitting with a radar gun and it goes 200 miles. And but I know. It was a white car, so it's okay.
It's like a SWAT team sitting outside a bank robbery and just eating donuts.
Yeah, because they haven't gotten the call yet.
I think there's only one way around this.
Bring back Colina and clone him.
I think. Well, I would get rid of Howard Webb as the head of PGMOL. I would give him his P45.
But they were shit before he came along as well.
Yeah, I will give him his P45 tomorrow, right? And what you've just said there, yes, I bring Colina in to oversee the Premier League, but I would also, this is what I would do. Now, like you've just stated, they all know the rule book, they all know the rules. If the officials of every Premier League game which takes place over that weekend, be it Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, if they don't apply the rules as they should be applied, they should be demoted to the Championship. And the Championship referees who are performing at a better standard and a higher standard than the Premier League referees are promoted.
We had one referee now that had his first Premier League match. Now he made one mistake, I think it was, and he didn't get one next week or something. That was his first Premier League game, and we have the same referee who's been in the league for 20 years and still doing rookie mistakes and not getting anything out of it.
One thing I will say is what Craig said with that punishment is I think that's not really a standard setter in a way, because he's still allowed to work. He's still going to get paid at the end of the day. In my opinion, if a referee can't, like referees get paid per game. I think something like that.
Yeah.
Here's my question to you both then. Do you
Yeah,
know?
but let Ben answer first. Let Ben answer the first one.
Yeah, referees get paid per game. If a referee has a bad game, and then they'd lose that pay for that game, for that weekend, whatever. Because
But then you have to. Who is going to decide if it's a bad game? Because it's a Howard Webb and his mates. They're not going to say he's had a bad game and he's going to get paid.
Yeah, but this is under the ideal hypothetical scenario where Craig's best friend Kalina gets hired.
Yeah, where Colina, who he met at the hairdressers.
Yeah. Right. So
next question.
Yeah, he's very scary, by the way, Colina. Trust me. Yeah.
I love him.
They definitely weren't talking about shampoo.
Or conditioning.
He's the real life version of Voldemort, Colina. Anyhow.
No, that was Jojo Shelby.
Anyhow, here's my question to you then, Ben. Do you know how much a Premier League gets paid per game?
Premier League ref?
Yeah.
It's 5 figures, isn't it? It's well into
£6,000 a game.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not including the brown envelopes under the table from all the Saudi clubs.
Well, Michael Oliver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's more than $6,000 under that table.
Yeah, there's millions of there, son.
But the thing is, £6,000 a game, and you can't get a decision right. Really?
That's why you take the pay away if they make a decision. And that's what I was trying to say. But Craig wanted to ask this question. Yeah. So if a ref and that you said how do you judge this? If a referee if a referee makes a decision that makes the news, or is that controversial that is genuinely a talking point for more than a day, then that referee shouldn't be paid.
But again, we said earlier we're not striving for perfection here, so there has to be some sort of wiggle room for the refs, because
lose 50% of your pay then. Yeah, okay, I don't know. Maybe not your full pay. Maybe that's too harsh. Maybe you lose 50%. But if it depends on the severity of the mistake.
Could you get like the players do when you have 3 yellows, you have to
miss a game.
Yeah, if you have then 3 strikes on your card, you lose half your pay or whatever it is.
Maybe that work better because it gives referees a chance at least. But at the same time, I feel like we've given referees enough chances.
Yeah, so but we can't go from full freedom to do what the fuck you want to do to now we're going to kill you every time we make a mistake. So we have to have something in between.
But maybe we have to set that precedent, that standard, put the fear of Jesus in them, and then when the refereeing standards start showing signs of improvement, then we should be more lenient. But it won't be completely removed as a thing. But say you do one bad thing it's a talking point for longer than a day, maybe 2.
Okay, then I have one final question, and that's to you, Greg. Did we now all 3 solve the issues with the referees in England?
Yeah,
Shall we take a call to the PGML and tell them how we're going to do it?
Yeah, get us on a border piece.
Sorry?
Get us on the border piece.
Yeah, we don't have the money for that one. What do you think, Craig? Wasn't that a good idea? I think it was a good idea.
I think it's a good idea, but I also think you've got to ask yourself, where do you draw the line?
Yeah, but we'll figure that one out.
No, what I mean is, where's the threshold? Where do you say, if you pass that threshold, this is what's going to happen?
Yeah, but we'll figure that out. I mean, come on.
Like I said, that threshold is dependent on how much of a talking point it is. If it's in the news for longer than a day, then it's clearly a catastrophic error that needs to be.
I mean, like the Doku kick on
McAllister, or the handball in the Newcastle game the other day,
and the handball from Ødegaard on Salah, the big mistakes that they don't pick up.
Or the Diaz goal against Tottenham 2 years ago.
That's 2 weeks no pay.
That should be a permanent ban from refereeing there for all of them involved.
But anyway, guys, I think we've close to 1 hour now, or at least me and Craig have. I mean, Ben came hopping along like a teenager, like he always does when it suits him. But but I want to say we have now on All Red Tea been talking about the robbery in Nottingham, and the culprits have still not been found by the sheriff.
No.
I enjoyed the chat with my friends Craig and Ben. And if you like this kind of content, please like, subscribe, and follow All Red TV. And we'll see you again soon, guys. Bye.
Yeah. And just before you go,
yeah,
just to let everybody know out there that on Friday we will be doing our first ever live stream on the Champions League draw.
Yeah,
as it happens, which is which I'm looking forward to it, because I don't know about you two, but it's going to be interesting to see who comes out and who gets who.
That'll be an interesting stream.
I'm really looking forward to that. Good one that you mentioned that, Craig. I completely forgot that. But I'm really looking forward to it. So now it's very important that you like, subscribe, and follow so you can get notifications when we do the live one. I enjoyed it with Craig and Ben. And as I said, thank you guys and have a good evening.